Rhea Kapoor, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're finally doing this, Rhea. We've been talking about doing this for so long.
It's been a while. I feel like you hate me now.
No, I don't. So Rhea, you're here today on this show that we call the Bold Bunch.
Yeah.
I feel like there'll be many who'll ask, what's a second generation industry kid doing on a show that celebrates risk taking? But I think that's unfair, because I do think that the films that you've produced, what you've done with all of the 3 films that you've produced, is that you've put the woman front of the story. You've not skimped on scale, on size. You've made big projects with women at the center, which is in this business
bold.
Very bold. Very bold.
You know, when I first started to produce films, it happened by almost accident, because my dad was supposed to produce this film with Sonam, and I was supposed to obviously co-produce with him.
Right.
But then he left for 24 in America, and I was left with it, and I was 21. But at that time also, I remember Sonam and I having a conversation, and the reason we decided to make that film is because there were no fun, entertaining films with a woman at the center.
Yeah.
She always had to go through something.
Correct.
In order for her story to be valid, you know. But I remember feeling like, you know, I grew up with all of these films. I grew up with films like, you know, 16 Candles and this and that, and Brat Pack movies, and so many of these had like Winona Ryder and all these amazing women. Yeah, of course. And all these amazing women at the center. And see, in India, whether you like it or not, it's changing very slowly, but when it comes to young girls and daughters, it's not easy to have conversations about things that are constantly on your mind. Since the age of 13, 12, 14, sex and, you know, booze and insecurities and things like that. And I remember having these films as my therapy. You know, Sonam and I would watch them over and over again. I would watch them with my friends, and these films didn't exist. So it's very heartening to see that it's happening more now.
Right.
But when we started doing it, I mean, it was bold at that time. When I did Khoobsurat, it was still bold.
Right.
You know, even though I was trying to make like a proper Disney princess movie.
Correct.
You know, it was still bold. Veere obviously pushed it to at another extreme. But yeah, I'm really proud of that. I always say this, that I'm very aware of my privilege. I'm very grateful for the fact that I have such an incredible role model in my father and in my mother. And he's given me so many opportunities. Why would I then take 35 years of his work and make things that everybody else can make?
Right.
You know, I want to say things that other people can't say.
But you've also acquired this reputation of being a ball buster, like a tough chick.
Like a bitch?
Is that the defense mechanism when you're doing a job which traditionally has been a man's job in this industry?
I'm honored. No, I'm not. Actually, the thing is, if you speak to anybody who's been on my set, I never lose my temper, actually. I don't scream, I don't shout, I don't raise my voice. I have my father's temperament. It's very difficult to get under my skin. And I am just very sure about what I want. Because see, the thing is, one thing I was aware of since I was a kid, and since I started production, is what are you going to be? A 21-year-old Anil Kapoor's daughter coming and screaming and shouting on set?
Right. That would be the cliche, right? That would be the expectation.
I was like, there's no way that even at that time, I was like, I'm not giving anyone because I'm not that, you know. I'm just very decisive. I want what I want because it's my responsibility, you see. And if anything goes wrong, it's going to be on my head. And the buck stops here, you know. So that's the only way I guess I'm a ball buster. I'm also a control freak. But the thing is, I'm willing to pick up the responsibility.
Right. Right.
You know?
Is there one film or one project that you worked on which you see as a sort of reflection of who you are or what you stand for or what you want to say?
Khoobsurat and Veere. You know, Khoobsurat because when I was growing up, every single fairy tale had a girl who had a fairy godmother.
Yeah.
And she got a new outfit and she became better looking, facial, you know, highlights, all that. And then the prince would look at her, okay? She'd also like get leaner and whiter.
Right.
But so Khoobsurat mattered a lot to me because this, I know it was still Sonam Kapoor, who's not exactly like the girl next door, but I mean now she's my sister, take it or leave it. But you know, I appreciated the fact that there was this girl who said, I'm not going to change myself for anybody. And there was no makeover, there was no nothing, you know. that mattered to me a lot because I am a middle child. I am Sonam Kapoor's sister. I am not, I'm not this person that's very comfortable being like I love dressing up and I love doing all of that, but I'm not comfortable putting it all out there, and being like, approve me, validate me. I'm not comfortable with that. So it mattered a lot to me personally because I felt like I have a right to feel attractive and I have a right to feel desirable without being this atypical, conventional like heroine. You understand? One is that. Second is Veere Di Wedding because I screw up a lot and I have no filter and I make a lot of mistakes and I put them all out there, and I've taken a lot of decisions and choices in my life that, whether it's my personal life or my professional life, that don't make sense to other people maybe, or they're not the safe decisions to make. But I don't want to spend my life apologizing for them, and it's frustrating. If I put on a few pounds or if I decide to date the wrong guy or whatever it is, oh God, I feel like women just keep apologizing for it and apologizing for it and apologizing for it. And I was over it. And Veere is that. Veere is a film about sort of saying that there should be no stigma around making mistakes because we all do it. Just be, and just chill and just live your life because you only have one, And so I think those two.
Is there a key decision that you feel like you took in your life or your career that has sort of resulted or contributed directly to where you are today? What you'd call a bold move?
One of them was, the writers of Veere came to me with a script before that, okay? And it was a script I fell in love with and I tried to make it for many years. I will make it. I will make it.
Okay.
But they went to a very big production house before me. And in that production house, they said we cannot make an R-rated film. Because at that time, satellite was a huge thing. Right? And I was like, no, I want to make this film. Because there's actually nothing, if you see Veere, there's no sex or anything. True. It's just language. And in America or anywhere around the world, it's usually PG-13. If you see Judd Apatow's films or whatever. And for me, it was a Judd Apatow film. So, I was like, I'm not going to compromise on the script. I just made that decision. And my father thought I had gone mad. And the other thing is, I just decided that I'm just going to keep making films with female protagonists at the center, whether people like it or not. Because honestly, Rajeev, I will only make what I can relate to.
True.
And somehow I just find myself attracted to only these scripts. Now I'm making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, and they're all female protagonists.
You also, I feel like another interesting thing you did was you also held out and waited for Kareena Kapoor to come back after having her baby. Most producers might not have. I mean, she was meant to do the film and then she got pregnant, and you took that. That was important for you that you'd made that commitment to her.
I wish I saved that message from her. She said that if you want to go take somebody else, you can. But I was like, I'm not taking anybody else. Because see, the thing is, first of all, to be real, not a lot of women were falling all over themselves through this film. They didn't trust that this is Sonam Kapoor's sister and she's going to be fair to me.
Us, right.
And all of that stuff. First of all, Bebo trusted me. Okay? And she and I just became friends. She and I just had a connection. And I was like, if I'm making a film like this, and then the heroine gets pregnant and I'm like, peace. Then why am I making this film?
You're right. It's everything where you don't stand.
And the other thing that really frustrated me is I wanted to make the film while she was pregnant anyway, because it wasn't like some 70-day action movie. It was a 45-day slice of life kind of film. But we wouldn't get insurance. In India, you treat pregnancy as a pre-existing condition. Penelope Cruz shot Pirates when she's pregnant.
That's right, while she's pregnant, correct. An action movie, And I couldn't shoot this thing where she's moving from one room to the other room. That's actually interesting, And
I was like, pregnancy is not a pre-existing condition. It's pregnancy. It's a natural thing. It happens to every woman almost if she makes that choice. So I don't know what you're talking about. If you're a single woman who's having a child and maybe all you do is direct ads, so what, am I not supposed to, make a living? I don't know. All these things were just in my mind, and I was like, you know what? I will wait, but I will make it like this only.
Paid off. Rhea Kapoor, more power to you. You're someone who acknowledges the privilege and who feels, it really feels like you're constantly striving to make sure that you're worthy of that privilege. So more power to you.
I'm only waiting for your review now.
I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. I'm looking forward to whatever you make next. Thank you so much. All the best. More power.
Thank you, Rajeev.
Thank you, Rhea. Thank you.